Welcome back at 7:14. Hotter summer temperatures are here and more heat is coming, as we all know. But from heat exhaustion and heat stroke to sunburns, the summer months can come with some extra health challenges. With us this morning is Dr. Ryan Bird from Touro to discuss ways to best protect yourself as we just get deeper and deeper into these summer months. Doctor, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you, Kelsey.
So let's talk about heat safety as far as staying hydrated and preventing things like heat stroke and heat illness.
Absolutely. So dehydration, I think, is something we're all pretty familiar with and have heard of. So that's where basically you don't have enough fluids in your body. You've lost more fluids than you're supposed to, haven't kind of kept up. And the initial symptoms there are going to be dehydration, are going to be feeling slightly dizzy, dry mouth, and if you do pay attention, darker colored urine. So ways to fix that, obviously, before you go out and get these exposures, you should definitely hydrate beforehand, hydrate during as well, and even after any type of activities. If you choose to ignore these symptoms, then there's the possibility of something called heat exhaustion. That's where the dizziness gets worse. That's where you note more fatigue. That's where you note some muscle cramping. And at that point, again, getting inside, getting into air conditioning, hydrating is very important. And again, if you choose to ignore these things, even worse, heat stroke. At that point, it's a medical emergency. At that point, we're talking about getting 911 involved, getting medical attention, because you can see things like confusion, faster heart rate. At that point, your body can no longer compensate for the loss of fluid and electrolytes.
And doctor, what is something that you see in the ER? People come in, they think, oh, I'm from New Orleans, I'm used to the heat. What's something that I guess catches them by surprise, or something that they don't expect that lands them in the hospital as far as trying to deal with this heat is concerned?
I think a lot of it is that people think, yeah, it's no big deal, that I can be outside longer than I can think. I can handle this heat. So they don't think that drinking the normal amount of fluids is adequate. They're outside longer than they think. They're enjoying themselves. They're not paying attention to these signs and symptoms, and these things kind of sneak up on them, and then they end up seeing me in the emergency department.
Well, let's also talk about skin safety, because people also, again, they're outside, especially if they're at a festival, on a boat maybe, at the beach, having fun, perhaps taking some adult beverages in, and losing track of time, the heat, the sun. And I'm imagining you've seen some pretty extreme cases of sunburn, people not properly protecting their skin. So what are some reminders? I know people are like, we know, but you guys see emergencies every year, so people don't know. So what should people be doing to best protect their skin?
So initially, I think you can start with maybe wide brim hats, the sunglasses, UV protection, light colored clothing, longer sleeves. But if you choose to expose your skin to the sun, you want to use the at least SPF or skin protection factor 30.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're applying at least every 2 hours, or if you're swimming, you want to make sure you're applying at least every hour.
Let's talk about people with chronic illnesses, because that's a group we really need to focus in on this time of year. The heat can really take them off guard, and quick. What are your reminders for those folks? Because I'm sure you've seen them in your ER as well.
Absolutely. I think number one is make sure that you're taking your appropriate medications. You want to take them on time, take them every day. And then any type of rescue medications that you have, you want to make sure that you have on hand at all times. You want to make sure too, some of these super humid days, super high pollen days, you want to avoid any kind of exposures to that. Just kind of know what you can handle and maybe stay inside in those days.
And you had one final reminder you wanted to leave with our viewers about pets and kids with these temperatures.
Pets, and especially children, you don't want them staying inside any hot vehicles for any amount of time at all. It can be extremely dangerous and potentially deadly.
All right. Well, doctor, thanks so much for those reminders. Again, we're getting kind of to that midway point of the summer, but we want to remind people we have more heat to come. Let's enjoy it, but enjoy it safely.
Absolutely.
All right, doctor,
Thank you,
thanks so much.
Kelsey.
We appreciate your time.